Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Friday, February 27th, 2026, and this is your AM Update.
I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him.
Hillary Clinton appears before the House Oversight Committee in its search for answers on Jeffrey Epstein. New reporting claims current White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles' phone call with her lawyer was secretly recorded by the FBI. Attorney Will Chamberlain breaks it down. An elite Supreme Court litigator convicted of tax evasion relating to his secret life as a high-stakes poker player.
Okay, how much have you had to drink today?
I've been drinking beers.
A twist in the murder case against the man accused of killing hockey star Johnny Gaudreau, as the accused driver now claims he was not legally drunk at the time of the accident. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. Our sponsor, the Electronic Payments Coalition, says Washington politicians are always getting in your wallet, and now they're messing with your credit card. They say your credit card and the security it offers are under attack, and that Senators Dick Durbin and Roger Marshall want to change the nation's payment system to benefit corporate megastores like Walmart and Target at the expense of everyday Americans. Credit cards can keep your payments secure and provide rewards that families use to help make everyday purchases more affordable. The Electronic Payments Coalition says the Durbin-Marshall mandates would let corporate megastores cut corners on credit card processing, routing transactions over cheaper, untested networks with weaker security and fewer protections. Find out more at guardyourcard.com and consider telling Congress to guard your card. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton appearing behind closed doors before the House Oversight Committee in a long sought-after deposition tied to the panel's investigation into the DOJ's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Lawmakers traveling to Chappaqua, New York, the Clintons' hometown, for 2 days of depositions, with former President Bill Clinton set to testify later today. After months of delay and theatrics in response to their subpoenas, remember, every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences. For us, that time is now, just before they caved like an overdone souffle. Now, both Clintons agreeing to sit for questioning. Both deny any wrongdoing related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Former President Bill Clinton, long known to have associated with Epstein throughout the early 2000s, including multiple trips on Epstein's private jet and a questionable picture involving Epstein's hot tub and a woman. Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell, notably photographed at Chelsea Clinton's 2010 wedding after Epstein's conviction. Chairman James Comer yesterday ahead of the deposition.
It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process. But we have a lot of questions. And the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround himself with some of the most powerful men in the world? Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days.
CNN reporting the Clintons and the committee members agreed to focus on 5 areas: alleged mismanagement of the DOJ's investigation into Epstein and Maxwell, the circumstances and subsequent investigations of Epstein's 2019 death, ways the federal government could effectively combat sex trafficking rings, how Epstein and Maxwell sought to curry favor to protect their illegal activities, and potential violations of ethics rules related to elected officials. In her opening statement, Secretary Clinton saying, quote, "I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that. You have compelled me to testify, fully aware that I have no knowledge that would assist your investigation, in order to distract attention from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers." The biggest disruption of the day coming after a photo from inside the closed-door deposition leaked online. Podcast host Benny Johnson posting a photo taken by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert showing Mrs. Clinton seated at the table in a blue suit. The proceedings on hold for about 30 minutes after the image went viral before resuming as scheduled. After hours of questioning, Secretary Clinton speaking to reporters after.
Well, I have just finished testifying. I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could, based on what I knew, and what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance, but whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times.
Chairman Comer stating earlier in the day the committee will release the video and the transcript of the deposition following the standard review process between both parties. Meantime, more high-profile fallout tied to newly disclosed Epstein records. World Economic Forum President Borga Brenda stepping down after documents showed he met Epstein for 3 business dinners in 2018 and 2019, as well as exchanging texts and emails. Stateside, former Harvard President Larry Summers will officially resign from his teaching role at the university at the end of the academic year. Records released in November revealing a close personal relationship between Epstein and Summers, with Epstein at one point referring to himself as the married Summers's wingman. Summers has been on leave from Harvard since November, also stepping down from his role on the board of OpenAI late last year. New reporting from Reuters revealing the FBI subpoenaed the phone records of FBI Director Kash Patel and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles when they were private citizens, and even secretly recorded a phone call between Wiles and her lawyer. According to the report, the as-yet unnamed attorney was aware of and consented to the recording, but Wiles was unaware she was being taped. That attorney now reportedly disputing that accusation. Director Patel telling Reuters that in 2022 and 2023, the FBI subpoenaed toll records from their phone companies, which indicate when calls were placed and to whom, but not the content of the calls themselves. The timing of the records makes it likely they were part of former special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into President Trump's alleged mishandling of classified materials at Mar-a-Lago. Patel also telling the outlet that investigators marked the files as prohibited, making them difficult to locate in the Bureau's computer system. Reuters reporting it remains unclear why investigators sought the records, whether Patel or Wiles themselves were under investigation, or who approved the subpoenas. At least 10 FBI employees dismissed following the discovery of the subpoenas, according to the outlet. In a statement to Reuters, Patel writing, quote, "It is outrageous and deeply alarming that the previous FBI leadership secretly subpoenaed my own phone records along with those of now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, using flimsy pretexts and burying the entire process in prohibited case files designed to evade all oversight." We spoke with senior counsel at the Article 3 Project, Will Chamberlain, who says the Reuters report buried the most explosive detail.
Yeah, so there's a piece of reporting from the Reuters article where the story was all broken. And it had this small tidbit buried 10 paragraphs down that mentioned that the FBI had recorded a phone call between Susie Wiles and her lawyer, and that the lawyer had been aware that the phone call was being recorded and consented to it, but Wiles herself was not aware. That, as a lawyer myself, that shocked me. That's not something I would ever do as a lawyer to my client. It violates a number of different rules of professional responsibility. And moreover, it potentially opens up criminal liability and civil liability to both Wiles' lawyer and to the FBI agents involved.
The lawyer in question now disputes that he was aware the FBI was recording the call, telling Axios reporter Mark Caputo, quote, "If I ever pulled a stunt like that, I wouldn't and shouldn't have a license to practice law. I'm as shocked as Susie." We asked Chamberlain what the legal implications could be if the Reuters reporting is correct.
Under 18 U.S.C. Section 2511, it's a federal crime to wrongly intercept or disclose wire communications, and that's up to a 5-year count. And even if there's a warrant, federal law enforcement is under the obligation to try and minimize the collection of privileged information. And here they did the opposite, and they actively sought it out, which is just unheard of. So, even if they have a warrant to tap Susie Wiles's phone or something like that, actively trying to make a phone call happen between Wiles and her lawyer that she thinks is privileged is not something that would be covered by such a warrant, and therefore it could easily be seen as a crime, as the wrongful use of a wiretap, and subject the FBI to criminal liability, and also could potentially a conspiracy charge as well.
Axios' Caputo reports Wiles believes her attorney's denial that he knew anything about this and thinks the Biden FBI may have lied about the incident. Chamberlain saying this reporting raises more questions about the actions of the Biden FBI.
I'm willing to take Susie Wiles' lawyer at his word because, as we discussed, the conduct alleged here would be outrageous for any lawyer to engage in. That said, this opens up a whole bunch of other questions. Who at the FBI would have lied about this? Are the people who briefed Reuters being dishonest? Or perhaps was it the Biden FBI officials who filed the paperwork about this phone call when it happened? Did they lie about the consent being given by Wiles' lawyer? I have a lot more questions than answers now, even as I think that the Wiles' lawyer was likely telling the truth.
Coming up, one of the most respected members of the U.S. Supreme Court bar convicted after hiding millions in income from a shadow career at high-stakes poker tables. The man charged in connection with the death of hockey star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matty, now claiming prosecutors got the blood alcohol evidence wrong and pushing to dismiss the case. You know what Pure Talk's favorite holiday is? Well, we just celebrated it, President's Day, because they believe wireless service should only cost you a couple of presidents. Just a little Jackson and a little Lincoln, to be exact. Yes, for just $25 a month, Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data. Now compare that to Big Wireless. They would rather celebrate Benjamin Franklin Day so they can charge your family hundreds every month. That's not right. You deserve better. Pure Talk is an American wireless company that supports our veterans and invests in a U.S.-only customer service team. So when you call, you're talking to someone right here at home. Pure Talk uses the same towers as the big carriers, so enjoy superior 5G coverage without the inflated price. Just $25 a month for talk, text, and plenty of data. No contract, no cancellation fee. What are you waiting for? Just dial pound 250 and say keyword Megyn Kelly, and you will get 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250 and say Megyn Kelly to make the switch to Pure Talk. Revered Supreme Court litigator and SCOTUSblog co-founder Tom Goldstein convicted Wednesday of felony federal tax evasion and related charges tied to his secret high-stakes poker activities. Goldstein, widely known as one of the foremost Supreme Court litigators, a sober, serious, and very well-respected advocate, arguing more than 40 cases before the High Court. That is, before he abruptly stepped away in 2023. According to his bio, quote, only 3 lawyers in the court's modern history have argued more cases in private practice. He was counsel on more successful petitions for certiorari, requests asking the justices to take up a case, than any other lawyer in private practice. Outside the courtroom, Goldstein co-founding SCOTUSblog in 2002, a site which quickly became essential reading for court watchers, earning national prominence for real-time analysis of Supreme Court decisions, including its pivotal role in clarifying the High Court's ruling on the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, in 2012. Here, the moment when yours truly corrected the record live on air after early confusion by others about the Obamacare decision.
Breaking news here on the Fox News Channel, the individual mandate has been ruled unconstitutional.
He says the individual mandate cannot be sustained under Congress's power to regulate commerce. That means the mandate is gone.
Megyn, you're seeing something now.
We're getting conflicting information. If you follow SCOTUSblog.com, which covers the High Court,
correct,
they say that despite what Shannon just read, that the individual mandate is surviving as a tax. This is not confirmed by us yet. This is according to SCOTUSblog, which also has the opinion.
They're reporting that the individual mandate survives as a tax. So it may have been struck down under the Commerce Clause power, but spared under the taxing power. Everyone's still trying to figure this out. It's very fluid right now.
Behind that prestige and veneer of respectability, we now know Goldstein was living a double life. A federal grand jury returning a 22-count indictment against him in January 2025, stunning the legal world. A judge ultimately dismissing 6 of the charges, leaving 16, including 1 count of tax evasion, 8 counts of aiding and abetting in the preparation of false and fraudulent tax returns, 4 counts of willful failure to pay taxes, and 3 counts of making a false statement on a loan application. Prosecutors alleging that between 2016 and 2023, while running an elite boutique law firm and regularly appearing before the most prestigious court in the world, Goldstein was regularly playing in high-stakes poker games involving millions of dollars and then not coming clean about those millions. According to the indictment, he diverted legal fees owed to his firm into his own personal accounts, using that money to cover his gambling debts, and allegedly used firm assets to pay off poker losses, disguising those payments as legitimate legal expenses. Prosecutors further alleging he used his firm to pay salaries and health insurance benefits to women with whom he had, quote, intimate personal relationships, despite them performing little or no work for the firm, and despite the fact that he shared his law practice with, his wife, not to mention other law partners. The indictment also claiming Goldstein failed to report or significantly understated millions in gambling winnings, and for many years did not pay taxes he acknowledged he owed, all while spending millions on personal expenses including gambling debts, travel, vacation rentals, and more. Authorities also accusing Goldstein of submitting false mortgage applications to 2 separate lending companies, namely failing to disclose his serious gambling debts. Goldstein declining 2 plea deals ahead of the 6-week trial beginning mid-January in Greenbelt, Maryland. At trial, the feds saying Goldstein took in about $50 million in poker winnings in 2016 alone, including $22 million won playing in Asia. Prosecutor Sean Beatty saying Goldstein's scheme began unraveling when a fellow gambler who felt ripped off by Goldstein alerted the IRS. After 2 days of deliberating, jurors finding Goldstein guilty on the majority of charges, acquitting him on 4 counts tied to aiding and assisting in the preparation of false tax returns. According to the DOJ, Goldstein now faces a maximum penalty of 5 years for tax evasion, 3 years for each count of helping to prepare false tax returns, 1 year for each count of willful failure to pay taxes, and 30 years for each count of making false statements to mortgage lenders. The sentencing date not yet set. Goldstein is likely to appeal. Wonder if it'll go up before SCOTUS. The murder case surrounding late hockey star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew hitting a critical turn as the accused drunk driver claims he was not over the legal limit when he struck and killed the brothers in 2024. Gaudreau, a beloved NHL forward and would-be Team USA Olympian, was 31 years old. He and his brother, 29-year-old Matthew, riding bicycles single file along the shoulder of a road in Oldmans Township, New Jersey, the night before their sister's wedding, when Sean Higgins allegedly slammed into them with his vehicle. A driver ahead of Higgins telling police Higgins had been driving aggressively, she and another vehicle slowing and moving left to safely pass the cyclists, Higgins then speeding up and veering right straight into the brothers. Both men, married fathers whose wives were pregnant at the time, dying at the scene. Higgins pulling over about a quarter mile from the scene. Here, body cam footage from the arrest.
Where were you before Taco Bell?
My house.
Okay, how much have you had to drink today?
I mean, I've been drinking beers, but I haven't had one in like 2 hours.
Okay.
So since the accident, like probably an hour or so.
Authorities initially reporting Higgins's blood alcohol level, or BAC, at 0.087. That's above the legal limit of 0.08. But during a Tuesday hearing, Higgins's defense attorney arguing expert analysis shows only Higgins's plasma was tested. Testing of his whole blood, the defense argues, puts his BAC at 0.075, below the legal threshold. Higgins facing multiple charges, including 2 counts each of reckless vehicular homicide, aggravated manslaughter, evidence tampering, and leaving the scene of a fatal accident, carrying a potential sentence of up to 70 years if convicted. The defense seeking to dismiss the case entirely, arguing the BAC discrepancy may have influenced the original grand jury indictment, requesting that prosecutors present this case again. Prosecutors say they're reviewing the new findings with their own experts, the judge saying if prosecutors accept the defense's BAC claim, they can pursue a new indictment. Higgins set to return to court April 14th when prosecutors are expected to reveal whether they agree with the revised BAC analysis and provide an update on possible plea negotiations. Even if they need a new indictment, they will almost certainly seek one. Running down 2 bikers and allegedly leaving the scene isn't legal, even if the driver was not legally drunk. Before his death, Gaudreau was on track to represent Team USA at the Winter Olympics. Following the Americans' gold medal victory over Canada, the Olympic team honoring his memory by carrying his number 13 jersey onto the ice and including his young children in the championship celebration. Gaudreau's widow, Meredith, speaking to ABC about the emotional moment.
I was so thankful for that. I was really, really proud of them as a team. And then I felt really proud of John because everything they did and that they continue to do is out of respect and love for him. So I was just very, very proud, and I'm very thankful to them for including my kids in it and just honoring my husband the way they do. It's the classiest thing.
And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the MK Show, live on SiriusXM's The Megyn Kelly Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.